All right, so when it comes to the life experience, there are two trains of thought. There's the idea that we're here to create a life experience, and I call that the playground. You're here to create what you want to see, create what you want to do, create who you want to be. On the other side of things, it's the idea that this life is a prison. I went to a Vipassana course, the 10-day meditation course, and the whole idea of Vipassana meditation is to escape the loop of reincarnation. So on one hand, you have reincarnation is inevitable and you keep coming back to basically have a life experience. On the other hand, you have this is some bullshit, and if you purify your thoughts, you don't have to do this again. Now, just to add this in, a lot of folks I see online or just see around in general talk about how they didn't want to be reincarnated and they don't want to be reincarnated again. But it's important to remember that you as you didn't choose to be here. Like me, Alonzo, Action Motherfucking Jackson, did not choose to come and have a human experience. Alonzo didn't exist until I got here and started having a human experience. Alonzo was a name given to me, and who I am now is just all my life experiences and programming laid on the template that was the human body. The motherfucker who decided to come here was the spiritual being, the infinite energy. So it didn't have any kind of hang-ups or letdowns of life. It was just energy trying to have an experience. All right, so back to the prison and playground thing. I just had to add that in. Like I said, the whole idea behind Vipassana is to purify your mind and your thoughts so there's nothing that can bring you back to this life again. And I get that. I mean, look at this life. It's like you come here, you don't do nothing but chase resources, really. Then you grow old and you die. And in all that happening, you watch everybody else grow old and die and get sick and die. And you just see a lot of things that you really probably wouldn't want to experience. So it makes sense that you wouldn't want to do this again. Even though you don't do it again, you come back as somebody else to do it again. But then there's the other side of things where you come to have this experience and you work to see the best in it all. So you can create the experience that you want to create by giving your energy to things that you want to see rather than things that you don't want to see. And I've come to the conclusion that you can bridge both of these together and have them work for you in tandem. So the idea of Vipassana and Buddhism is purifying your mind helps you to escape reincarnation. But once you start to purify your mind, you start to see things differently. You start to not allow for shit to take you down and keep you there emotionally, energetically. So in that way, you start to see things more as a creative experience, more as a playground. What I'm seeing now is that in order to escape or stop the reincarnation loop, the prison, you have to see life as the playground by changing your mindset and your perspective about life. Because the whole thing about the reincarnation loop, through Vipassana at least, is that the negative energies and thoughts that we have keep us here. But if I'm seeing life as fun and enjoyable and as a creative experience where I can create things out of the things that I don't want to exist, where I can see contrast, I can see what I don't want, decide what I do want, and bring what I do want into fruition, it changes how I feel about life. And if I feel that life is more in my creative control than not, it's not so much of a prison. So now, if I'm seeing life as, okay, this is an experience that I'm having, and I'm going to make the best of it, I'm going to have a good time, that's the beginning of purifying my mind. Because that's where the initial energy that thought to come here and have the experience had, if that makes sense. So in order to escape from the reincarnation loop, you have to merge both sides. You have to stop thinking of this as a prison, because in that way, you let go of the heavy thoughts that bring you back to the prison over and over again, and you start to see this as just a game, just a creative experience, a life experience. And this is something that I'm kind of still working on explaining and putting together. That's why I made this video, to kind of do some explaining, get some more ideas on it, hear what other people have to say, and maybe give some people a better perspective, a newer perspective. I won't say better, a newer perspective on how all this shit goes. That's it. Down in the description below, I added the exact steps that a student of mine took to manifest $30,000 in 30 days. Well, it was more like 40, but he asked for like 35 and got 30 in one part and then 10 in another part. It's all in the description below. It's free. It's just a bunch of text messages he sent me with some insight. You can go ahead and click on that if you want to learn exactly how to manifest shit. You know, you might not make 30K. You know, he was a different kind of guy, and I'll explain that as well. But yeah, go ahead and check that out. And I'm going to catch y'all in the next video. Peace.